Hi, my name is Michael, you can call me MBL Designs, and it's time for another MOC showcase. And this time I'm going to showcase my Shazam Rock of Eternity MOC based on the Shazam movie that came out earlier this year in 2019. So I was super excited when the Shazam movie was announced. I was hoping for some movie-based set from the movie, but sadly we did not get that. But we did finally get a wide release version of the Shazam minifigure, which has previously only been released as a Comic-Con exclusive. So now when we finally have Shazam, I thought, what better MOC could I do than the Rock of Eternity? So the Rock of Eternity is the meeting place and basically the layer of Shazam and the Shazam family, having the thrones of the different champions. Sadly, we haven't gotten any of the other champions at the moment in Lego form. We only have Shazam at the moment. Hopefully in the future we will receive the other champions as well and reunite the Shazam family in Lego form. And if we do that, I would love that so much, because even though this looks good with your Shazam, I can imagine it would look even better with all of the other champions as well. So a bit of an overview before we go take a closer look. Here's a bit of a 360 of the whole MOC. And the really fun thing with this MOC is that it's about 80 to 90% SNOT technique. For those who don't know, SNOT stands for studs not on top. And that's basically when you not build things with the studs pointing up. So for example, I have studs pointing up here, but we have side studs or side building towards there. And for example, these shares are completely SNOT technique, so none of them have studs pointing upwards, which was a really fun thing to work out. But let's take a closer look. So starting out, we have Shazam right here in the center of the creation. Now, as I said, all of these shares are SNOT built, so taking all of them off at the moment. Having a closer look at Shazam, for example, sitting in the throne. The shares have an inverted tile at the bottom, so they are not attached in any way. And with the new, more softer capes, it makes for a really easy way to just place them down and the cape doesn't crinkle up or anything like that. So moving these away and taking a better look at this, which is the lightning bolt. I don't really know a proper way of calling this, but it's in the back of the Rock of Eternity and has the lightning bolt and the Shazam emblem basically. So moving these things away and just focusing on this. My main objective with this was the lightning bolt, of course. And I'm going to actually show you guys how I made this. And as you can see, it's a SNOT technique as well. And I basically used these newer pieces that, if I remember right, was first introduced in one of the Minecraft sets with the chicken in one of the buildable figures for Lego Minecraft in this yellow color. And these really work out great because having one on one side and two on the other makes so this is one complete piece and this is another. And just adding them together makes these three line up, and there isn't any gaps in between, which was one of my main objectives with this. And then having a 2x6 SNOT area right here, and also if you can see right here, I have a 1x1 tile that's I think it's 1/2 plate offset, or it's sticking out 1/2 plate, and I actually have that to actually push this 1x4 tile towards the lightning bolt, because there would be a gap in between here, because, let's see one more time. As you can see, this tile is only connected by one stud right there, and then is filled up by the other side. So there would naturally be a small tiny gap there. So I had that 1x1 tile there just for security. One thing I really wanted to fix, but then thought it was such a minor thing, especially when you are supposed to look at the lightning bolt at this angle, is the fact that you can see small bits of the actual plates I have behind here. So this tiled area of the plate actually shows through tiny bit because I used the slope pieces on the lightning bolt. But that was such a minor thing in my opinion that I didn't really care about it. But that was something I tried very hard at hiding the best I could and still have the lightning bolt very structured and yeah, basically like that. So the side details right here are also just SNOT, so I really like the texture with these, I think these are for sliding doors on trains, I guess. I really like that texture. And then moving on to this was really fun because I don't really do this type of greeveling or rock detail normally. One really fun thing is something we can see on this side is that I have a jumper plate down here and then a tile on top, which means that I can actually have it slide through the whole thing depending on how much I want to show it. So for example, with this one right here, I have it lined up with the tile I have on the opposite side. And this one up here is actually supposed to line up with, let's see, with the greeveling detail right here. So that was one of the really fun things in my opinion. And this was my starting point because I feel this is probably the most important part about Rock of Eternity. One thing I have to mention though is that in the movie this is actually transparent and is actually a hole, or not, it's not transparent, but this is actually a lightning bolt shaped hole in the actual rock face. And I tried that in the beginning, but that didn't really work out and it didn't really look that good either. And I had some problems lining it up in the center because this was probably the best way to go about it. And I see it as kind of a tribute to the comic books because it's a lot brighter yellow in the comic books as well. So I thought about that basically. But that was the lightning bolt. Now actually moving on to the actual stand. And you might just guess that it's not that special or anything like that. But let's zoom out and let's take a closer look at it. So now having a closer look at the actual platform. Whoops. I wouldn't say it's perfectly built because you can see here there's a bit of a gap. But I'm quite pleased with how it turned out because it's mostly SNOT technique. So, for example, the only thing that's built right side up is the steps right here and some of the brick detail right here. But taking a look at the bottom, this is basically how it looks from underneath. And I use some of these bigger panel pieces just so we don't have to use up that many bricks, which was really easy, and the color doesn't really matter because you don't see them. And the same thing goes for the two black Technic pieces right here, because these Technic pieces are actually where I connect all of the different chairs. Because at the bottom of each chair I have a jumper plate, 2x2 jumper plate. and I basically just connect them all like this, and as you can see, the black brick, Technic brick, doesn't show through. So with that in mind, I didn't really need to have light bluish gray brick there. Some other details I really liked were, for example, the use of these quarter round tiles, which actually gives for a really cool effect that the ground is like damaged or grooves in the ground and stuff like that. And then of course the bricks or the masonry bricks, which also gives for a really cool detail. And I tried to not use too many of them, but at the same time I really wanted to use a fair amount of them, to say the least. But then putting on the lightning bolt signia again, like so, and then taking this share and adding Shazam, Captain Marvel himself, and just like so. And then we have the Rock of Eternity. I'm quite pleased with how this model actually turned out. The only thing I'm really hoping for is that LEGO makes more of the Shazam family, or yeah, the other champions basically. I'm really hoping for that. I am quite sure we would get a Black Adam in the future, because we have Shazam, it would be understandable to have Black Adam. But any of the other members of the Shazam family can be understandable why LEGO wouldn't do that. Hopefully with the sequel coming out and stuff like that, the popularity of the character will grow. And I'm just hoping that we will see them someday in the future. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, that was pretty much everything I had to say about this MOC today. If you have any questions or thoughts, or if you just want to know how I build something, or just want to say what you think about the MOC, please tell me in the comments. And except for that, please rate, comment and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in another video. Thank you for watching.